Oh, God. Here we are, guys. This is the series finale of The Penguin. And as always, thank you so much for joining me today. And of course, previous episodes, they are in the description. I'm just in such a state right now, so I just want to get this off my chest. Timestamps along with previous episodes are in the description. Timestamps are also on the bottom of the screen because this is the final episode. This is the series finale, so this is going to be a much larger episode, specifically because of the end. At the end of the episode, my discussion afterwards is going to be much larger, much more substantial than anything I've ever done for this series specifically. And of course, now beforehand, my final thoughts, my final predictions and everything before we get into this episode, this is going to occur now. So if you're not interested in that, just look on the timestamps and just flip to my reaction if that's what you're here for, because I have a lot I want to talk about before we get into this episode. It is a momentous day right now and a very sad day because I feel like I always say this. I feel like my life just goes by so fast. And I feel like these 8 weeks specifically have just gone by like, I feel like we just started here. We're getting episode 1. It's like, nope, series finale. It's already been 8 episodes. And that's kind of ironic too, because one of my huge complaints, and a lot of people complain about these sort of, because it is, yes, still technically, I mean, I say technically like it's trying not to be, but it is a comic book show, and the bulk of these shows nowadays are from Disney Plus, but they always allot to like 40-ish minutes on the high end and 6 episodes. So the pacing and really the character arcs, it's in my opinion, it's not enough to flesh it out. So having the Penguin with nearly hour-long episodes every single weekend for 8 weeks, it's more than I could have ever hoped for. And I am grateful, but just it's part of the thing where you're having so much fun and you enjoy something so much, the time goes by fast. It goes by fast when you're having fun. So I guess you can sing that as a praise for the show. But yeah, so what I want to talk about right now is sort of my final predictions. And I just also want to mention, of course, at the end of my discussion afterwards, when I talk about the series, I'm going to be doing the Batman Part 2 discussion / prediction. Everything I feel about where we're heading in the future and casting and things like that. Everything I know I'm just going to talk about because I do keep very up to date with this universe. So perhaps you might learn something from me potentially, but I'm just going to say my thoughts because we'll get into it a bit about how I feel like this is going to cover any sort of Batman related thing, specifically the movie sake. But I also did want to say that I had a dream about the finale Friday night, a couple nights ago, actually. You can see how important this universe and this show is to me, that I'm having freaking dreams about it. But in my dream, which is never, ever going to happen because dreams are whack, but the weird shit that happened in my dream when I was thinking of the finale, it was pretty much the bat signal was turned on and we got a camera pan to Robert Pattinson standing on a building. Well, Robert Pattinson, Bruce Wayne, Batman standing on a building, and he comes down to fight the Penguin. But then the camera drifts to a different part of Gotham, and then there's like a building in the snow, and it was Alfred getting out of an expensive car. But then he hears a noise behind him, and he turns around, and then all of a sudden, out of the shadows, a Talon jumps, and you see his goggle eyes glowing yellow, and then it fades to black. That was my dream. That obviously that is not going to happen. None of that. I had a dream a freaking Court of Owls showed up at the end of the Penguin. That is not going to happen. But I just thought that was really funny that's the shit my mind thinks about while I'm asleep. But Court of Owls for a sequel, a overarching story about this idea of corruption and hidden organization within the heart of Gotham. Could be somewhere we're going in the next movie or the Batman Part 3. But that is all conjecture for later in my post-reaction discussion in my prediction section. So right now, I just want to start off talking about Vic. I've really enjoyed Vic throughout the series. I really love his character. And I do wish he was in because episode 7, he wasn't really featured in it besides the beginning when Oz was like, go out and get me an army. And from what I've gathered from the trailer to the next episode, it's going to be kind of like a weird time thing. So we're going to be in Vic's point of view again before there's the explosion that Sofia set up when she had the car driven into the trolley system tunnels into a secret hideaway. So it looks like we're going to be speaking with the Triads, and then we'll arrive at the destination at the point when there is the explosion. So it's going to be a little bit of backtracking before we progress the plot. Before we progress the plot, not the flot, the plot further. And I'm making predictions for every single character, but Vic, for me, is the hardest right now to pinpoint what the hell is going to happen to this kid. I don't know. Since the get-go, the first episode, everyone, including myself, it's such an easy thing when you throw shit at the wall and hoping that it sticks. And a pretty safe bet was always going to be that Vic is going to die. Number one, of course, that's just a given. But more specifically, Oz was going to kill him. But then they kind of addressed that in episode 3 when Vic was like, oh, he's going to kill me. I don't know if that's foreshadowing, but I don't know anymore. I don't see it. I don't see a way where Vic dies by Oz, or see, he's not going to get killed by a random goon. He has a more, it's not like Sal when they're subverting expectations for his death. It has to be very personal and very sort of fitting. So it has to be a high stakes profile character. So I think if Vic were to die, it would either be by Sofia to send a message to get at Oz, or by Oz himself. So right now I am really, I know it's a safe bet. I'm 50-50 that he lives or dies. I absolutely can see a possibility now where he does live and he's Oz's like right-hand man, kind of, I guess. But then it's also just as much likely that he will get killed. But again, it has to be specifically by Oz or Sofia, because there has to be that connection and that personal relation to make it fitting for the story. Sofia getting at Oz, and then Oz, of course, just showing his true colors like he did with his brothers, showing no remorse, nobody is safe from his selfish nature, really. So I don't know, man. But the only thing that makes me think that he might survive is because there's such a connection between the two characters. Like there's such that vulnerability, because they both have physical setbacks that are perceived by society as a weakness, as a disability. And because they're in such a dangerous environment, being in the criminal underworld, they're underestimated. They're left out. Nobody gives them a second thought. So having that personalization between them, that connection, was really sweet and endearing, and also dark because of the way Oz comforts and reinforces the idea that he's doing the right thing in this life. And just a very interesting relationship. And I've loved it all the way to this point. I don't know how it's going to end. But really, just their relationship, that mentor-mentee relationship, was really well done. And I said, I kind of feel with the last episode, the thing with his brothers, it's almost like he's making up for his brothers with this relationship with Vic in a small sense. I don't think it's a large part, but I think it's more than just one. Here's a generic answer that he just wants to be this guy's Rex Calabrese. He wants him to view him as this prolific figure and look up to him as an idol. I think it's much more than that, or at least it's evolved into that. So where Vic is concerned, that's what I'm feeling. Moving on to Oz's mom, I think I have much more of an idea what's going to happen with her, because again, the scenarios are always 50-50 because they either live or they die. That's really the only choice that we have. But with Oz's mom, I feel like it's much more narrower than what could happen with Vic. Vic has more possibilities. But Oz's mom, one, because of her dementia, and two, because she is currently captured by Sofia, which Vic is not. So with Oz's mom, I was thinking maybe we could get something with... See, the whole thing, I think with Oz is he's constantly seeking approval, from his mother. That's been his lifelong mission, in a sense. It's just gaining her approval. He wants her to be proud. He wants to make her feel safe and give her everything that she needs. But it's like a dog chasing cars, kind of. But a very fast car in the sense, because he can never quite land the mark. So the ultimate thing with Oz, I think more so than her death to set him off, because he always has this idea that his mom is what keeps him good. But he's come to terms with her death because she said, you got to help me die. But I think the real sort of thing that could just uproot everything he's tried to build, the relationship he's built with his mom, and sort of the empire that he's trying to orchestrate in the underbelly of Gotham's underworld. This all boils down to the truth of his brothers, their fate. I feel like that could just upend the entire dynamic between him and his mother. I feel like that could be worse of a spite, a pain, than her death, was her ultimately shunning him for what he did to her sons, to his brothers. And I feel like Julian might be able to accomplish that. I don't know. We don't know how much she knows about the incident, but maybe he can make her put the pieces together with the red light kind of therapy that he's doing. I would imagine that's how they found out about Monroe, is that they got her to speak about it, and that's why they're kind of taking their... It feels like a very sort of video game final boss. We're at this very specific location that is integral to the plot, having our final showdown. I kind of love how... I wouldn't say cheesy, but I love that they're doing that. It's so video gamey, the best way I can describe that. And on the flip side, there's also the possibility that Sofia would kill her, but... it's hard to read what she's going to do. Sofia's a hard character to pinpoint because she wants Oz to suffer, but sometimes emotional pain, they always say, is more, it's longer lasting than physical. But what could be the most physical, the most painful thing that Oz would have to endure for the rest of his lifetime, or however short Sofia intends it to be, even though we know he's going to survive? Could that be her death? But Sofia knows that Oz's mom her time is running out. It could be more so with the whole thing with her learning the truth and just disowning her own son, and then Oz taking that rejection. I don't think he would kill his mother out of spite, because I think there is the possibility that he could still end her misery in a sense, but I also think he could sort of, because he likes to invent these scenarios. We've seen him do that with Sal. He takes control of the narrative in a sense where he has to invent this story for his own sake and his own sort of, it's almost like his pride in a sense, because Sal beat him in the fight and then he had a heart attack and died, and Oz can't accept that because he technically lost. So he had to take control. He had to shoot him, bring him out, show his guys, I killed this dude, I shot him, I won the fight. And in his mind, that's how it's playing out. So maybe mirroring something like that when his mom is she's severing her ties with her only son, and to control that sort of almost headcanon, he kills her as a sort of like, Mom, you're going crazy, your mind's finally gone, I gotta end you. I don't know. Something, maybe. There was also something interesting, because I won't lie, I did rewatch every single episode today. That's what I did today on Sunday. But I saw that Sofia kept Oz's cigar cutter from his house, and that was seen in the trailer for the next episode. I'm like, is that going to come back in any way, potentially? I don't know. So, final prediction for the mom. I can either see the truth coming out, Sofia or Oz killing her, maybe. I don't know. I think there is going to be sort of that. The truth is going to come out, I believe, in some way, in some fashion. I don't know if Oz is going to confess or they're going to get to the bottom of it somehow. And then moving on, I feel like Sofia is the easiest to pinpoint for what's going to happen to her, because again, it always boils down to two options, life or death. But in Sofia's case, I think she has two very poetic ways, because I don't think she's going to get on the plane and go to Italy and be free like she was talking about. I've talked about this. I feel like the most poetic or fitting ending for her is something very spiteful done on Oz's end to show you just how nefarious and how much of a bastard this character is. And one, if Sofia gets captured and she goes back to Arkham to spend the rest of her days, she left hell just to return to it. She got that small taste of hope and freedom, and then she's sent back. That could be terrible for her, and could make sense, I guess. But more so, I was talking about this, is if she dies, let's say she kills Vic or Oz's mom, and then Oz, to get back at her, naturally is going to kill her. I think the most poetic way that he could do that is very hands-on, quite literally, to the point where he's strangling her, because that's what her nightmare is. She's always clawing at her throat, feeling her father's hands around her. The images of her mother hanging herself, all these women who died by her father's hands, it reinforced the hangman persona in her. Again, to the point where she claws at her neck, creating these scars. And it's almost a fear, in a sense, the fear of hanging, where she can't breathe, because we've seen that throughout the series, these moments where she's gasping. So I feel like when Oz looks her in the eyes as he takes her life, like her father took so many other women, and he strangles her, that could be a very dark but also very poetic way to bring about her own death. So I think if she lives, she's going to Arkham, and I think if she dies, that's how she dies, is Oz strangles her. That's my prediction on that. And I'm actually running out of time, because the episode is going to start in 8 minutes, because I've recorded this right beforehand, but we'll go more in depth into the characters, because this is just like a quick prediction sort of thing, like praises of the actors and stuff that will all come later. Because right now I have to get through all these things. Okay, so moving on now with Oz, we have, of course, he's going to win. He's going to be the new Kingpin of Gotham. That's just a given. We've known that before the series started, when it was first announced that Oz was going to rise to the sort of legendary figure that he is in the comics, and just how we know him as the Penguin. He's the man on top, ushering a new age in Gotham. And I love how there's a reflection between how he technically killed Sal, but we had Riddler killing Falcone. It's these much more theatrical figures that are adopting personas that are offing the generic sort of mobster type. So it's really showing the evolution of Gotham, going from just the old guard, that old system of these rich, prominent families that have had a hand in corruption, and the way things run through, of course, the Falcones and Maronis. But now we're getting to the point where freaks are popping up with their identities, and they're taking over, and they're the ones who are killing all these old figures. So I really like that, and we're going to see that more with Oz. So that's pretty much the only prediction I can do for Oz, because we know he's going to win. That's just a given. But I always said he's going to be enjoying the view, so to speak, because he always speaks about getting the penthouse, being on top of the mountain. But I talked about how the summit of the mountain could be the most loneliest, because there will be nobody else to enjoy it with him, because perhaps his mom and Vic will be dead, so there's no one by his side, so it's a bittersweet victory. The last two things I want to talk about is the setup. I know that there's going to be no Batman. They always spoke about reviewers and Matt Reeves and a lot of the cast, well, not the cast, but these people who are behind this, executive producers like Dylan Clark, Lon Frank, everyone has been coining this as a bridge to the next movie, how it sets up and leads directly into the Batman Part 2, but I believe that is a bit overhyped. I think it's more for marketing purposes and a sense of continuity, but I don't think there's going to be anything significant that we don't know at this point that's going to be unveiled as a sort of like inkling into where the story is going. I think it's just going to be Oz arriving at the point that we know he's going to be, which is the Kingpin of Gotham, with no other competitors in the sort of mob world. And that's it. There's not going to be like a cameo of a so-and-so villain, and you're going to be like, holy shit, it's going to be Oz and this guy versus Bruce in the next movie. I don't think it's going to be anything like that. And of course, no Batman, which for me, the series is something I came to terms with, but one thing I didn't, and I've seen a lot of people complain about just in the fandom of the Batman, this specific universe, is the lack of this sort of, even the mention of him. I think that's more important than him showing up in the series. There's just the presence, the specter of the Batman. I feel like that hasn't really been felt. It didn't really realize its potential, specifically how criminals are afraid of the dark. They go out at night. I feel like there could have been at least one scene between Vic and Oz. Maybe it will happen in the episode where he just talks about his history with Batman and that he met him and that he's real. I don't know, something, but I always predicted that at some point we could at least get a bat signal shot, and perhaps now that is actually just going to be the final shot, like the alluding to that Batman is going to eventually confront this new reformed Oz, who is now the Kingpin. He is at the top of the mountain. No more Carmine, no more Sal. Something like that. And I don't expect even minor cameos. I feel like if anyone was the cameo, the most logical would be Jeffrey Wright, specifically because HBO loves that guy. I understand because he's a great actor, but he's in so many HBO things that I feel like they could have easily got him for the finale, because if he managed to pin it all on Sofia, kind of like he did paralleling the thing with Carmine where he's like, goddamn rat. But he was free despite everyone knows he worked with him and they couldn't touch him. They took Carmine away. So maybe a parallel situation with that. If that were to happen, I feel like they could easily write something where he's like, hey, Gordon, where's your costume partner freak at, huh? And then he could be like, oh, don't you worry, Oz, you'll meet him soon enough. Like, I don't know. I'm just looking for anything. I don't know. But I think the most logical for the ending is the bat signal. So that's where I'm at. And yeah. Okay, so this is about to start, so I'm going to wrap up. I'm turning off my phone. I'm extremely nervous because I heard that this is going to be a very heavy episode, is how it's being described, very brutal. Colin Farrell obviously has talked a lot about this episode. Even Matt Reeves has said it's the most kind of like, boom, it's in your face. You feel it. So I feel like it's going to be quite dark, and I'm very scared because I love these characters. The actors have just been incredible. This is one of the best casts I've ever seen for a show. All of them just complement each other, and just every scene they're in, they make the most out of it, which I appreciate, and I think is just fantastic. This is fantastic storytelling, truly. I am very afraid, and we're going to get started here. And one other thing is, in the trailer, I saw he was going to town hall. Like, I don't think there's going to be any sort of setups, because I don't know how it works in the office courtroom where they have like the little plaques, because I saw one that said Bella Real. Like, I don't know if we could do like a camera pan, and it would be like DA Harvey Dent potentially. See what I mean? I'm not trying to set myself up for these things. I know it's not going to happen, and I'm not going to commit on that. This is the story of the Penguin and his evolution, and we'll get into all that good stuff later, because it is time for the finale. Here we go, guys. Hope you're excited. I'm more nervous than excited, really. Oh, here we go. Shit. A great or little thing. Oz is going to get his top hat this episode. I saw the leaked shot like over a year ago. And naturally, I thought last episode because it was called Top Hat, but it's not happening. It's also a shot in the trailer. I know some of you might not care, but there was a really nice like golden sunset shot of Gotham Tribune, and I have not seen it in the series yet. I hope we get it this episode. This is the shit I think about. It's gonna start. Oh, fuck. I should have brought some damn tissues. I feel like this is gonna be very, very emotional.
Go back to that time.
Interesting. They're having the main actress play in the flashbacks now, sort of reliving her memories. That's cool. The younger actress they casted her and young Oz played their counterparts like they were so good. They were so brilliant, especially with the voice, because it's a hard thing to replicate. Yeah, see? This is very clever. Rex.
I wish you'd let me pay for the funeral. Give Jack and Benny a nice send-off.
So people could shove tissues in my face and tell me it was God's will. I don't need a public display to mourn my boys.
Oz has been coming around the store a lot lately.
Oswald has always been so goddamn needy. I made peace with it. I did. That he was different. But now, what he's done, I keep.
She knows?
I found this in his coat.
Flash.
He was with him, Rex. He lied to me. My babies were drowning in those tunnels, and he didn't say a goddamn word to stop it.
He's a kid.
He locked them inside. If I had known if he had I could have saved them, they'd be here with me right now. But Oswald didn't want that, no. This is what he wanted, me. All to himself. I got the devil in my house, Rex.
That flashlight was in episode 1, by the way. Crazy how it came all the way back.
If Oz is what you say, they can serve a purpose. Go on to do big fucking things, especially in my line of work. Foster what he's got. Embrace it. Raise it.
You want me to look the other way? Ignore what he's done? What kind of mother would I be?
Well, then maybe let him go.
I let him go. You mean? You'd be willing to help me with something like that?
This completely changes everything that you know.
Got dinner for you?
And the last episode. What a complicated relationship this is. What do you even do in that situation? I understand her dilemma of not even knowing how do you even go about that. That resentment of your own child.
Ma, look who's here.
Rex is gonna drive you home later.
Really?
And no, I've been absent lately, so I wanted to make the night extra special.
I know you miss him, Ma. I do too.
The way they're shooting this is very cool. Maybe he is the Mad Hatter.
You took him to the jazz club, Monroe's.
This hypnosis.
I'm gonna take care of you, Ma. You know that, right? It's gonna be easy now. I'll get a job. What do you want? Tell me and I'll get it.
Your balls have barely dropped, and you're gonna take care of me.
Of course I'm gonna take care of you. I'd do anything for you. No one else believes in you like me. No one else is gonna give you what you deserve. Better than what we got now.
Yeah, better's easy. Where we are.
The best then. On the top floor, in a penthouse like you want. With a view of the whole friggin' city. And if you don't believe me, well, you don't gotta. Because I'm gonna prove it. Just don't give up on me.
Man, his theme is much more aggressive here. Oh shit, we're jumping right into this, huh?
What is that?
I mean, the Bliss operation's destroyed. I don't think Zhao and them are gonna want to play ball anymore now that there's quite literally no product. They don't care about Oz. This is what happens when you work with him.
Your friend has put us in a dangerous position. Oman, go back.
Wait, that's it?
Yeah.
Be for the product, not the penguin.
Wow. They're all a bunch of fucking cowards, you know that?
Easy, Vic.
What, are you gonna let the Maronis and Gigantes do whatever they fucking want? The whole world, they treat us like we don't matter. You're gonna run away now? That's bullshit. You gotta know your place, or you're gonna catch a bullet.
Hey, Link's, he's looking out for him. I like Link. He's covering for him with that. It's interesting. I saw that in the trailer that he punched him, but story behind it is much better. Vic taking charge too. How many people died here? There's no way our boy isn't aware of this. Alfred's gonna be like, I assume you heard about this. Wow. Holy shit.
Hey, man, what happened? Where's Oz? She blew it all up. What about Oz? Did he get out?
Detectives got him. Where'd he take him? He's got a bag on his head. This looks like a point of view shot.
It's time to wake up.
Is that Julian? What the? Oh shit! What? Okay, I did not expect them to. What?
You know, when Berto and I were kids, we found this nest out by the greenhouse with 2 baby birds inside. One of the birds was bigger than the other one, and the mama bird gave it more food. And I got nervous for the smaller bird. I thought it was going to die. But then one morning, when the mama bird was away, the smaller viciously attacked the bigger bird and killed it. And then it just pushed its brother out of the nest. It was the most disturbing thing I had ever seen. Can you imagine doing something so terrible to your own brother? When the mama bird came back and saw that one of her babies was missing, instead of punishing the smaller bird, she kept feeding it, caring for it, as if nothing even happened.
What is this shit? Talking about birds!
You don't like my story?
Mom!
It was a stupid story. And you have the better one, anyway.
What are you talking? What happened when?
Tell us why you left your brothers to die in those tunnels.
What the hell are you talking about?
Why did you lie to her?
What the hell are you talking about?
She knows. I know. We all know what you did. You act like you tell her everything. And she acts like she believes. It's so sick. It's almost as sick as you asking that man to kill your son. Rex, right? Was that his name? Your last night together was going to be here. Did he fulfill his promise? Or do you wish you would have let Rex take him for that ride? You feel about him and how angry you are. Tell him.
Stay away from her! Mom!
The cigar cutter. I was talking about this.
Oz, was it my brother's right or left pinky that you chopped off?
Oh, fuck.
Touch her! God damn it, don't fucking do it!
Just because somebody knows something doesn't mean that they don't need to hear it. She deserves the best. Doesn't she? Just tell the truth. Tell her what you did to your brothers.
I already told you I didn't do fucking shit! No! God damn it, no! I did nothing! I wasn't even there! Stop! I wasn't even with him! I didn't do shit!
What's wrong with
She
you?
knows.
He's such a denier.
Just say it, tell her. I already fucking know. I know what you did to Jack and Betty. I always know.
Lies. You're getting things confused. It's just your disease talking, Ma.
Fuck you! I hate you. I hate you for what you did. I never stopped hating you.
You would have let me cut it off. Huh. You would have let me do it. Because you don't care about her.
Fuck you.
You don't. Not like you say. You don't feel a fucking thing.
I had enough to give all 3 of you. You didn't have to leave them down there. You didn't have to take them from me. They were my babies. My world. You're a disappointment. You're a waste of space. I wake up every goddamn day sick that I'm your mother. She's fucking right. I should have let Rex kill you when I had the chance.
What the frick?
You're the devil. You're the goddamn devil.
Ma.
I don't think her heart can take it.
Stop him!
You're dead, buddy. Turn around. There you go. His mind is so warped. Fuck, dude. He's very sick in the head. He wouldn't even admit it. Inventing these situations that are just complete bullshit.
What happened? Are you okay?
Sofia, she stabbed me.
I got there too late. I tried the gangs. I tried to make them see, but they just left.
I got nothing left to offer him, so.
That's not true. Oz, it's not just about the money. I mean, that's part of it, sure. But, I mean, guys like Link, he believes in you.
Link?
You gave people jobs in Crown Point. You got the power back on. Nobody did that, all right? Nobody else did that. Nobody even tried. You gave people dignity, Bliss. That's bigger than Bliss, all right? So get the hell up. Let's go. Get your shit together.
Practice that, huh?
Shut up.
I do not trust Oz with Vic anymore.
So we're gonna come at us sideways.
This guy's is literally the biggest piece of shit. He's on par or worse than Carmine.
Thank you for making the trip across the bridge.
Whoa, she got them?
Who wants it?
I don't think we're quite clear on what you're offering.
I'm leaving Gotham. Mr. Zhao, there's nothing left for me here. But my home, my territories, my businesses can all be yours. Whichever one of you brings me Oz first. Whoever finds Oz first can have all the means to control Gotham for as long as they can hold on to it.
You want us to believe you're gonna walk away from all of this? Why would you do that?
She wants to be free.
Because I can. So who wants it?
I don't think she knows about the alliance, but they'll definitely turn on him for that promise. City Hall. Okay. I was worried they weren't going to get the roof right, but they did. Because the roof is CG, it's not real. Did they actually shoot this in Liverpool? How are there no set photos of Colin Farrell in Liverpool doing this? If it's fake or not, it looks great. What is it called? St. George's Hall or some shit?
Link?
Victor.
Uh-oh.
I know he's alive.
Sofia just put a bounty on his head.
He's a good man.
We gotta do something. But we gotta do it fast.
Yo, Link is a bro. Why am I still rooting for this piece of shit, though? That's a real question. Such a manipulating bastard. We're gonna see Bella Real. This, one of those names, please be Harvey Dent. Bella Real, Mayor-elect. Just do a camera pan, show me the other names. Oh, it's this guy.
I did what you asked. If anybody sees me in here with you,
I mean, I guess most of the fingers are gonna be pointed at City Hall. If the voters want answers, sure it'd be nice to have some, right?
Like what kind of answers?
Answers like the truth. Sofia Falcone, she sent a car full of explosives into the tunnels under the city. That hole in the ground used to be the biggest drug lab in Gotham. Run by a real smart motherfucker, too. Salvatore Maroni. It's the same old war. It's the Maronis and Falcones ripping each other off.
It's quite a story.
Yeah.
Is any of it true?
Yeah, it's fucking true. When the cops go digging in that hole, you know what they're gonna find? They're gonna find little pieces of Sofia's G-Wagon and a bunch of dead Falcones and Maronis, including Salvatore himself. Angry broad got out of the loony bin and went on a fucking killing spree. You got an opportunity here. Give the people someone to hate and someone to love. Sebastian Haiti. That's the guy who turned the lights back on in Crown Point. Restored people's dignity. How does that sound?
Sounds nice.
That's the kind of win that you can ride all the way to the top, Councilman.
And in return?
In return, you know, meet some of those friends you got. One of these days, we'll bump into Bella Real.
Real, she's forming a commission, anti-corruption. And they have a list of Carmine's associates. They're gonna subpoena you. You wanna be welcome? You gotta look clean.
Mayor Cobblepot. We're getting Oz into politics? Shit. Is that her? I can hear her voice.
What we need
Yeah. The interior of City Hall is perfect. I love this architecture. That Gothic architecture. I freaking love this set. They did CGI a building out here, though. I noticed that. It's different from the Batman, this exterior shot. Nitpicky. Doesn't matter, but... Still looks really good, though. Yeah, Vic is gone.
Get in.
Let's play here. So far, this episode has gone just in. I have not foreseen how this was going to go. And I like that. I like that's not just like my generic predictions coming true. Because that's boring as hell. It's like, you take the obvious route. It's like, eh. I love that I'm like, I have no idea what's going to happen.
I have Oz.
Fucking relax.
Shall we bring him to the house?
Packing up the last of my things. Congratulations, Mr. Zhao.
And to you.
That's why the plane was in the trailer. See, I thought it was because he was taking his drug international, but this makes more sense. And is she going to burn this pile of clothes? Because she was smoking dual cigarettes in front of a flame. Yeah, here it is. Piecing together the trailer shots. That's what I do. No, wait, she's just going to leave Gotham. Is that really how she ends? She wants to be free. I mean, it makes sense. Oh, triple, huh? Well, she's going to throw one. She's burning the house down. So she lied. Come get your house, Zhao. This is like her and Chentani when she was dancing, wearing the mask and the dress, that feeling free, burning it all down. She's like low-key the true protagonist, because Oz is just a straight-up villain. She's such an incredible character. Burn it all down. Carmine. It's crazy. Despite all this, I'm still more Team Oz, but I don't know. Best wishes for her because she was a victim in all this. Oz is a scum. I can't believe still I'm on his side. Still, despite all the gaslighting, manipulation, she should be who we're rooting for. She has been wrong. Like, she's entitled to win. She deserves it.
Thank you, Mr. Zhao.
Drop him over the Atlantic. See if the penguin can fly.
He's smiling. Oh, she knows.
Zhao.
Vic was there too.
Hand it over. Slow.
Yeah, the driver. That's right. Oh my God. I can't believe Link turned on Zhao. Link knows. This motherfucker has the most potential. Oh my God. What? Just like old times. I can't believe this.
Just like old times, huh?
What?
You going somewhere?
I was hoping to.
What the fuck?
Promised him something.
Yeah, well, you and the Dilo never would. Shot. Link was tired of being overlooked. He ain't the only one neither. Years of being brushed aside, laughed at.
Yeah.
You and your kind, you're so busy filling your own fucking plate. You don't see that everyone around you is starving.
What a line.
Oswald Cobb.
Man of the people.
Man of the people.
Trailer line.
Here we are.
Where are they going? What happened to Julian? I hope they kill him because I'm tired of the bullshit that he's going to be Scarecrower. Just end him so we don't have to deal with the stupid ass fan theories about him. I'm sick to death of them. Sorry, not sorry. Where are we?
Oh, you don't want to put your gun to my back? Make a big show of it?
You ain't the type to run.
How's your mom? Has she told you she loves you yet?
Turn around.
I didn't see you. But she did. She knew it from the very beginning. You have always been a monster.
You're never gonna find peace, you know that? Sick fuck like you. You're going to hell. Sweetheart.
I'll save you a seat.
Is he really gonna... I feel like... No. No. I don't know. I almost don't want this. She's going back to Arkham. No fucking way he's gonna do it. Blame it all on her. She's going right back to hell. Oh, this is so much worse than death. Oh my god.
On the ground! Hands behind your back!
I can't believe it. Poor Sofia. Oh my god, that fucking piece of shit. She's going right back. This is so much worse. And she knows it. That's awful. That is so bad. I feel so fucking bad. Oh my god, what a scumbag. Death is too good for how he was gonna punish her.
Get some cups. Snuck you in a little whiskey to celebrate.
Son of a bitch.
This is all me. I fed him this bullshit. Look at him spitting it out, Ma. What do you think?
Still seeking her approval. That's all he ever wanted.
Ma, look at me. Ma, look at me. Get a doctor in here. Get a doctor.
She's on her last leg.
Come here, look at me, Ma. Look at me, sweetheart. Ma.
We've been looking for you, but didn't know how to reach you.
Why aren't her eyes fucking moving?
Your mother has suffered a serious stroke. I'm so sorry.
What's going on?
I'm afraid the stroke has left her in a persistent vegetative state.
Her fucking eyes are open, look! She's looking at fucking something! This is another fucking idiot! Get the doctors in here! Get the fucking doctors in here! Get a fucking doctor in here!
This is what Francis didn't want. Going out with no dignity, staring at nothing.
I did it. I took it all. From those bricks, like you said. I'm the fucking king. But don't do this to me. Just don't do this to me, alright? You gotta tell me tell me you're proud of me. Ma, tell me you're proud of me, please! Come on, just once and tell me you're proud of me. It's what you wanted, Ma. It's what you wanted.
We're finally gonna get the bat signal shot after all this. I can't believe Vic is alive.
Everything I ever done was for her. She knew that.
You weren't there, Vic.
You think she forgives me?
For what?
I don't know. All kinds of things. None of this came easy, you know? Can't stop thinking about them. My brothers, you know, what kind of men they'd be if they had the chance. What they'd think of me.
I think about that too. My family. Yeah, I really miss them.
Different story with Oz, Vic. You have no idea.
You know, I couldn't have done any of this shit without you, right? I mean, bringing Link into the fold, I didn't see it at first, but it's a smart move.
It really was.
Thanks.
I still can't believe Vic made it. Fingers crossed. We still got some ways to go, I think.
Thanks for taking a chance on me.
That's all Vic was looking for.
For taking me in.
Same with Oz.
You're family to me. You know?
Fuck. Fuck, Vic. You and me. That's all that's left. It's good that we met. Yeah?
Yeah.
You see me at my lowest, all this shit with my mom.
I'm getting a weird feeling.
By my side every fucking step. Listen, kid.
Uh-oh. Oh, no. Don't do it.
I can't bring you with me this time.
Don't you fucking dare.
What do you mean?
I mean, that's the thing about family.
You fucking piece of shit.
It drives you. Fuck if it don't make you weak, too.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
I can't have that no more. I can't have that shit. I can't. It's too much. Please. Too fucking much. You're a good man, Vic. You got a good heart. It wasn't for nothing.
I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say, man. This guy is just so fucking evil. Colin Farrell was not lying about this last episode. It fucking got to me. The devil. He went back for her.
I brought your mail.
This version of Oz, this character might be the most evil Batman villain we've ever gotten in live action.
I think you should read it. It's from a woman named Selena Kyle. She says she's your half-sister.
Selena, holy shit, she wrote her a letter. Both of your mothers strangled by... Oz is worse than Carmine. I can't believe it. I'm sorry for crying on camera, guys. I should have brought tissues. I had a feeling I need to, but... This was the thing. We were always talking on Reddit and shit about what if these two met. Obviously they can't now, but this closure. Oh, Selena's theme. That's beautiful. I can't believe Vic, his mom, fucking killed Vic. He got a new car. Purple. Look at this piece of shit. Look, yeah, that's right. Look up in the sky, motherfucker. He's coming for you. We seen this in a lot of the shots. Oh, he brought his mom for the view. We're gonna see that light in the sky. He's coming for you. Fucking scumbag. I want to punch him. I hate him so much. I actually hate this guy.
It's everything you wanted.
He's sick fuck.
There she is.
Eve? Is she dressed up like his mom? He's so fucking sick. Oh my god. I can't believe she's out of fear. She has to agree. This guy is so fucking sick.
I love you, Oswald.
Tell me you're proud of me.
I am so proud of you.
Tell me I did it.
You did it. My beautiful boy. Gotham's yours, sweetheart.
Oh, it is not.
Nothing's standing in your way now.
Show it. Show me it. Come on, pan to it, baby. He's coming for him. when that light hits the sky, it's not just a call. It's a warning. Okay, guys, so naturally, of course, it is the next day because I did explain to you that I edit this first and then I do my discussion afterwards, which always occurs the very next day because not only is it something that gives me time to absorb more of the episode, but also just for scheduling purposes because I live on the East Coast, so this episode ends after 10 and I gotta sleep and I gotta do things, so it all works out for me the way I do this, so it is the very next day. I haven't even bothered to change in my uniform. It's very appropriate because this guy is coming. He's going to beat Oz's ass, and I hope to God that's what happens. But I also heard that Colin Farrell signed up for the Batman Part 3, so he's got a future, and I'm happy to see that. But also just, I need him. I need Oz to suffer. But I really do just want to start off by giving a massive credit to everyone creatively who was behind the creation of this because this was a chef's kiss of, see, I'm not one of the people that tries to, I think there is such an unfair association in a sense when you bring up that this is a comic book enterprise, comic book property, because we always see it with the Oscars and award shows. They always get snubbed because they don't view it as anything that's really substantial, which is complete bullshit. But I think even more so here because this was less about let's just filter in cameos and action and all the sort of fun things that we look for entertainment-wise out of a comic book property with superheroes and colors and visuals. And this was more so focusing on let's tell a very dark and deep story about the sort of class disparity and the rise to power and suffering and pain. But these characters just so happen to also be comic book characters that felt like they put the story first, which is always what you want to do. And the execution like this, I know I haven't seen all the comic book shows. I'm not going to claim that I am somebody who is the authority on this, but I have seen half of Daredevil and a few episodes of The Boys, but just from my own viewing, and I've seen about like 60 or 70% of the MCU shows, this is by far the best comic book show I've ever seen. Quite truly, the pacing, the writing, the characters, the acting, just utterly extraordinary all around. And I cannot sing the highest praise for everyone involved in this. And I always said that I'm very sad about the fact that The Last of Us is in the same sort of year that this is going to contend with at the Emmys, because I know, because I mentioned it's going to get snubbed, not only because it's a comic book property, but HBO is deciding to put The Last of Us, House of the Dragon, and The Penguin all competing for awards during the same award seasons, which is such a dumb fucking idea because the people behind this are genius. They deserve credit, and I want them to get some recognition, nominations, awards. I want that. They worked their asses off and created something truly special that we, the fans, appreciate. I truly appreciate this. I want more of it, but I want that recognition for them because this was a masterclass of a series. And rightfully so. I know we always give a large part of credit to Matt Reeves because this is his take on Gotham and these characters, and he's created it in a way that it feels very tangible and relatable because it does feel like almost a very distant but not so quite American city that is filled with, of course, the Gothic architecture but also is just plagued by incessant violence and corruption and death and evil in a sense with, we've seen about Oz being the devil, but these figures, they all sort of like congregate in the center of this city for some reason. It's in this perpetual state of chaos and despair. So I'm always grateful to Matt Reeves for creating this very, very unique, my favorite personal live action take on Gotham ever, my favorite version of Batman. I really appreciate what he's done and I look forward to so much more, but I also want to take the time because, again, I rightfully so, we do give much credit to Matt Reeves, but he was the executive producer on this, and the main person that was truly behind the creation of this was Lauren LaFranc. She was the showrunner. She was the primary writer, coming up with these characters, how the story begins, how it ends, the influences into their backstory, and also just creating something different because it was important, because we always have these, I wouldn't say generic is the right word, but these mob-type shows follow sort of a traditional sort of patriarchy where it is the males in charge. And I know one of the main things that she wanted to do to differentiate was try to create a show in which that there were these female characters that were just written exceptionally well and actually served a significant purpose. And she absolutely delivered on that in such a real and authentic and beautiful way with the creation of Sofia Falcone and Oz's mom, Frances Cobb, who both actresses just fucking killed. I thought they were dude, this show is incredible. And everyone who took part in it, just they maximized their potential. And I truly feel on the side of just performances that I want to say, because we've all admired Sofia and Kristen for how good of a job she has done, which I absolutely agree with. But I also want to show Oz's mom some love, because she killed it in every moment that she was on the screen, creating this persona of hardship that was born out of the loss from her sons and the trauma that she endured to create this sort of what we perceived as the audience, as Sofia initially, as this monstrous figure which influenced Oz, to only see it completely turned around, and that she was actually innocent and completely broken by her devil of a son that she's always secretly despised and learned to live with. Just wearing that on your face as an actor and trying to bring it in a very organic way that you can pick up on the emotion and it doesn't seem forced or fake. Just master class acting displays in this show, just all around. Colin, of course, as Oz, I could sing his praise all day. Renzi as Vic, bringing that, because I initially thought he actually had a stutter in real life, because he did such a great job replicating that. He worked with a coach that does have a stutter to make it sure that it was authentic, that it was real. To create scenarios that people who do suffer from stuttering, to just show you what is life like for them in that situation, and how might people react, and how might it feel for us to empathize with a person like that and to be patient and work with them. So just the work that it took into creating the characters, and then the actors taking that information and bringing it to life, just it couldn't be better. It was perfect. It was 10 out of 10 on that front. Just absolutely masterful and quite beautiful. Just the way these characters just all they delivered on it's cinema. They were all just exceptional. And I talked about how this is a limited series, but now they are talking about a season 2, because it's just the nature of things. When something is successful, naturally these companies behind, such as HBO, are going to throw money your way looking for a season 2. But when Matt was talking about it and Colin was talking about it, of course, it all comes down to the story. Can it work? Can it be up to par or surpass the writing of the first season? And I always, of course, that is something naturally that you should always try to accomplish when you are trying to engage in future projects and you are trying to develop the characters even further. Very common example recently of something that I think did not need a sequel was Joker Folie Ado. I thought that should have been a one and done, because it was just such a powerful film, and time could have enriched it as this standalone thing that was just on a pedestal, but they decided to make a sequel naturally because of financial things, because first movie made over $1 billion. And of course, I think that the execution was lackluster, and it completely sort of, it brings down the original, even though I wish it didn't, but that's just how it works. So if the story is there, great, do it. But if it's not, do not ruin it. You don't have to, because I am aware that they do want to explore other characters. Matt Reeves does specifically. So I look forward to if we can get more. I wonder if they're going to continue this trend of it's the Batman, the Penguin. I would love to see. I don't know if the Two-Face works, because a Harvey Dent show is so much more logical now, especially with Bella Riel forming this sort of anti-corruption task force, and we just know that there's a new DA position. So I'll get into this more later, but Harvey Dent or something like the Clayface, the Scarecrow, more of these sort of semi-grounded characters that could fit into this dark and gritty world that Matt Reeves constructed. I'd love to see it, but of course a season 2, but it's going to be hard to jump back into this boat and sort of put yourself into the psyche and point of view of Oz. We have seen how it is all has all unfolded, and I just can't get behind this guy anymore. I can't. I actually kind of despise him. I'm disgusted with him. So it's going to be hard to transition back to him. And if there is a season 2, there has to be another sort of competitor on the street that is threatening him. I know a lot of people thought Black Mask, and I even was like, oh, is Mark Strong playing Black Mask? And he was playing recast Carmine, but Maybe there is somebody who can pose a threat to him on the street, threaten his sort of criminal empire. I would love to see if we could sprinkle Batman more in the mix if we do a season 2, because there is going to be most logically more money thrown their way budgeting wise. I don't think it was a budget issue with Robert Pattinson, because he's not somebody who really works for money, and I know he loves the character. But Matt spoke about how they did originally write several versions of the Penguin where Robert Pattinson stepped in as Bruce, as Batman, but it sort of dampened the overall story they were trying to tell of Oz. So I completely understand, for the sake of storytelling and pacing, that they completely scrapped it all together. But now that he's at a point where he is the Kingpin, he's the Penguin, there's no one else left to threaten him. Who is gonna? Sofia's behind bars, Zhao's dead. All the sort of underdogs of their respective gangs have risen up, and they respect Oz. They've formed this sort of unspoken partnership in the midst of an alliance with their actual main bosses. So he's got everyone. Who's going to threaten him besides the Batman? I don't know. It has to be some... I don't think they would do a thing where it was Sofia got out to get Sam back in, only for her to break out again to start another gang war. That just would be so stupid. And I know a lot of people are getting excited now with the Selena letter that, hey, is Selena going to break her out of Arkham? I don't think so. Maybe we can have a scene where she visits her in some way, but she's not going to break her out of Arkham. But a season 2, I would love to see. Colin Farrell also said he was going to be in the Batman Part 3, which is interesting because I want to see this piece of shit taken down ASAP. I want Batman to do like an Arkham video game style takedown where it's like a 55 hit combo and just knock his ass out, please. I need to see it. I need Oz to suffer. He was just such a prick, bastard, piece of shit, degenerate scumbag in this, and I love that, and I hate that, because I always spoke about how I was upset with the Sony universe, the way they're doing spin-offs of Spider-Man villains without Spider-Man, but even more so, it's always the same thing of like, let's do a misunderstood person with a tragic background that is an anti-hero that's still likable. But here on the flip side, they're like, let's just do Oz as a villain. He's not broken as a child. He was always this way, and he can even sink even further into depravity. So I appreciate that they just completely committed on that front to making Oz. It's like, how do we create the biggest piece of shit? Here's a list of how to do it, and they're like, okay, let's do every single one of those. I love that they did it, because I hate that son of a bitch, and we need our boy to kick his ass. He needs to come, and I hope there is season 2, because it depends on the way they do it in the Batman Part 2, because again, Matt Reeves also said that, or Colin, he didn't read a script, but he said that he was in 5 or 6 scenes for the Batman Part 2, which if I'm not mistaken is the same amount of scenes he was in the Batman. I would like if he had just a little bit more of a presence in the Batman. Perhaps with Carmine gone, he can almost like inherit what would have been Carmine's scenes, because this just shows you that he's not the main antagonist for the sequel, because I know a lot of people were wondering if that's the case, if that's going to happen, but it's not looking like, which I'm glad, because I still love how much, because I love how much of a villain he is, and I didn't imagine that he could get to this point where he is just truly such a piece of garbage that I'm actively rooting for Batman to take him down. And he's also a threat because he's just so... The fact that he was willing to kill any sort of emotional ties he has, to not have that weakness to become the person that he needs and wants to be, makes him very dangerous. And Sofia said that his greatest attribute is that he doesn't care about anyone, and he cares about them, but it's in his way. It's not in the traditional human way. It's not in a healthy way. So very sickeningly disgusting character. And I think the biggest sort of, I wouldn't say kick in the balls, but more so kick in the gut and the heart, was the way they shot this was very intentional, to the point where it was an evolution of the character, because of, we spoke about this last episode where I said I don't fully trust him after his brothers, because he's like a devil. When his mom describes him as a devil, we have always the association, I might be, because I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3 again right now, but with the devils and powers and temptation, there's always the appeal in it, the way it deceives you in a sense. So Oz has this persona and this display of charisma and humor, and he's very likable, and there's this energy about him that makes you, that he tries to project very much like how he was inspired by Rex. So he tries to replicate that, and it works not only for the characters that are in the show, but also for us, the audience. So up until the point where he kills Vic, I broke down because I love Vic as a character, but it also made me so sad that Vic was being betrayed because he opened up to Oz to the point where he's like, you're like family to me, which is his ultimate downfall. But it's twofold, because it was a betrayal for Vic, but then it felt like a betrayal for me because of this character that I've invested so much, I wouldn't say faith, but looking past all their dark tendencies and the acts that they've done just because they are likable. And you're like, can I find just a sliver of goodness in this character, something to latch onto, that maybe there's a redemption for them, and for them to completely just toss that aside, it breaks your heart, and the worst feeling is a betrayal. So in that moment, I felt for both Vic and myself just the ultimate stab in the back, fuck you, kind of just, it messes with me. And that's the power of great storytelling and great writing for characters, if it can get you to such an emotional state that you're feeling like I did in that situation. I'm sure other people probably did, but I don't like breaking down on camera, but I couldn't help it. I love Vic, but just the way they executed that, just the overall, the look on his face when he realized that, yeah, I can't have this weakness anymore. That family's what will get you. Just spectacular way that was directed and shot, and just, if the intention behind that was to make us feel uncomfortable and think about this, because I'm probably going to think about this for like a month, just leave such a bitter taste in my stomach and mouth, and I feel unclean. Like I feel like I need to cleanse myself after that. Colin Farrell also was not kidding, because he was describing a scene from episode 8 that they shot that just completely sapped the room of just joy and energy that I think he had to watch. I believe it was Pixar movies in between takes, and I can see why. I can't even imagine just how degrading that is and how that must feel. I know acting is just pretty much playing make-believe like you're a child, but that's something I could never do. I couldn't pretend to just do that. Colin Farrell is just a master performer, master actor. So, see, that was the thing. I don't want to throw stones here, because I know a lot of people are calling for a Catwoman show, but I think the issue with a Catwoman show is that we already know Selina's background. There's nothing really to explore besides her just being a thief. I don't mean to say that she's a one-dimensional character, but also with Zoe Kravitz, she's a fair actress. I haven't seen her enough to get really quite the measure of her, but knowing that Colin Farrell is an extraordinary actor and that he's also helmed other shows before, so him being the lead is not something that is new to him. And just, again, having somebody with this expertise, this ability to act, it completely makes it rational for them to have a whole series dedicated to them. So I think on the flip side, that's why the Penguin works more than a Catwoman show could. No diss to Selena or Zoe Kravitz, but I just feel like Colin is truly just such an exceptional actor that, of course, he naturally could just carry an entire show. But we threw in the mix fantastic characters all around that delivered on an on-par performance to Colin. So it just all around just works splendidly. And speaking of Vic, I think the thing that makes me most sad on sort of when I was editing and rewatching and realizing was the fact that when he took the money out of his wallet and he tossed his ID into the ocean, you can interpret that as him making it look like a mugging, in a sense, but I think it was even more so the way you can interpret it as kind of the irony, because a couple episodes ago when they were in the Penguin Cave, if you want to call it that, their base of operations where they were making the Bliss, he was like, Oz Cobb, Victor Aguilar, our names are going to live forever. People are going to remember us. And the fact that he tossed out his ID, Vic has no remaining family. He quite literally died a John Doe, a nameless nobody. Lost and forgotten, Gotham consumed him. It's just, that's heartbreaking to me. And I always say that this series, and sort of, I guess it is just kind of the running point of the universe with Cyberpunk, this story of the American dream, but rising to the status of a legend, making your name, your legacy outlive yourself after you're gone. And to see Vic just fall miserably so short of that through no fault of his own, but technically because he should have got on the bus and left to go to California. But it's heartbreaking. I don't even, if we ever got a season 2, would Oz even think about him, mention him? And the shit he did with his mom, to the point where he wouldn't even end her misery. He did exactly the opposite of what she wanted, bringing her to see the view. But she said she didn't want to be some brain dead vegetable staring at nothing. That was her biggest fear. And he really kind of doesn't even care about her wishes. It's all the way he interprets his own emotions, his own relationships. It's all the way he justifies it by his own means is so disgusting. It's inhumane, truly. Like, he truly is a monster, because there is no one is free. And no matter what, if this guy even had a child, I wouldn't put him past him to do what Carmine did, but maybe to even more of an extreme extent, to where he actually kills them himself. He's just that kind of guy. It's terrifying, honestly. And the fact that there are individuals out there like that just it makes me sick. It's heavy shit. This kind of series is a little too heavy for me. I won't lie. I really appreciate it and I really loved it, but I'm begging for the hope in Gotham, because I need some goodness. I need to know that in the city of darkness there is that little bit of light kindling to give you that hope that, hey, maybe tomorrow's going to be better than today was. And Sofia's end, I talked about this a bit. I thought it was either going to be 1 or 2. She was going to get strangled, which actually happened to be Oz strangling Vic. But I said if she did live, she would get captured and put back in Arkham, which is the ultimate sort of slight against her, I guess you could say. Because it's this whole idea of Arkham is hell, and he kind of told her, you're going to hell, but the way she interpreted that is, I'm going to kill you, and because of what your actions have done, you're going to, like biblical hell. And she was like, oh, I'll save you a seat. But the way he was actually pinning that was, no, you're going back to Arkham. And it's like Riddler in the Batman said, I'll see you in hell. And I feel terrible for her. I know that Oz is the main character, and if we have these sort of points where you say that Oz is the protagonist and Sofia is the antagonist because she's directly in opposition against the main character, but I feel like the roles should honestly be reversed, because she has been completely wronged in this entire series. She's been betrayed, lied to. She was a victim, and I know she did kill people. It's not excusable. I'm not condoning what she did, but the fact that we could see her come to a point where she just wanted to be free and was leaving Gotham, burning down her house, and she got so close to freedom like a bird, and then Oz just... That's the worst thing, when you snatch someone's hope. And it was like the ultimate punish for her. Death was too good for her. It just... I feel terrible for her. I do, but I love that there was this sort of silver lining, much like the bat signal at the end. It's always about the sort of the inklings and the little glimpses of hope that people cling to in desperation, and the fact that she got a bit of closure in the form of a letter in connection to that she has family out there in the form of Selena Kyle, her half-sister. I thought that was beautiful, especially because we had that sort of, I don't know if you call it a riff, but there was Selena's themes lightly playing in the background as she was reading that, which I thought was just, I was so happy to see that. I love Selena's theme. I think that's just Michael Giacchino, the Batman, just so beautiful. But I love Selena's theme for some reason. I just think it's really, really soothing, and it has that vibe to it. But it was so poetic and fitting that we're like, let's just put it over the scene with the letter. I was like, because it also is more connection to the Batman, of course, but I thought that was such a great scene, and I actually didn't even think about that, because I know a lot of people always theorize, like, oh, what if these two characters met? And I'm like, that's never going to happen. I still don't think that's going to happen, but I love that they slightly touched upon it a bit there. And I know I said I was going to do a super, super long post-reaction discussion. I mean, this is still getting, when I'm looking at the time I've been recording, it's still adding up and piling on, but I'm actually going to condense it a little bit. So if you're watching to this point, and specifically there's something I didn't touch upon that you want to ask me, please feel free to, because I do want to wrap up. Because I've actually been editing this for a large part of the day, because this was the longest episode, so it's taken me a very long time, and I kind of just want to wrap up and be done with this, in all honesty. Not in a bad way, but just it's been so long that I do just kind of want to move on to the next topic. And what that is going to be is right now we're going to talk about future possible spin-offs and predictions for the Batman Part 2. So as I mentioned earlier, I said the most logical that I believe for the next sort of spin-off is a Harvey Dent-centered show. I think obviously we're going to see sort of explore the character and see his rise to Two-Face. I don't know if it's all going to culminate in the ending to where he becomes Two-Face and he gets scarred. Now that Sal's gone, I think Penguin's going to be the one to do it, because if Batman locks him up and we have the sort of stupid Joker folly to do, but if we get the trial of the Penguin and then he scars Harvey Dent as a one last I got you bitches to Gotham in a sense, then that could be crazy, especially because we spent so much time with Oz. It would be fitting. I don't think we're going to have Robert Pattinson's Batman in the courtroom like there was in Batman Forever, but I would just love to see the creation or more so the evolution of the character, because I think there's a lot of potential specifically for Harvey, because I know even Matt Reeves said when the interview was like, oh, can we see like a courtroom drama, legal drama with Harvey Dent? And Matt Reeves is like, you're thinking in the right direction that our conversations have gone. So I am leaning more towards that, but also just because I think it could work. I have only played, well, I haven't played. I don't have a MetaQuest 3 or whatever the hell it's called, but I've been watching on Batman Arkham channel, which is the best video game channel for Batman related content out there, because that guy is, I think he's Batman behind the scenes, because he's just, his gameplay is top notch, but I've only seen about half of it. The new Batman VR game, which is it Arkham Shadows? But one thing they did, which I love, is the relationship between Bruce and Harvey, them being childhood friends in therapy together, because we have, I know there are various incarnations of the character of Batman, and of course with his rogues, as we've seen in live action and comics and animation, that every director puts their own spin, their own story behind these characters, but the common one with Harvey Dent, of course, is exploring his childhood trauma from the abuse that he suffered at the hands of his own father, and then his way working past that to become a lawyer. But ultimately, well, is a lawyer a district attorney? Yeah, pretty much. I don't know. I don't know the proper judicial terminology if like a lawyer is the same as a DA, but you know what I mean, government official within a city. But yeah, so him working all his way, but then also struggling with his own mental health, and then having these scary figures, because there are times where it's like, oh, is he going to go on the more political side and try to gain favor? But then you have to play with these underworld people, because that is sort of the necessary evil, and how much of his darker side comes out in the mix, in the wave of all that. So I think that could be very interesting to explore. But I also think having Harvey could also pave the way for Leslie Tompkins, which would be, if I'm not mistaken, Mattson Tomlin in Batman Imposter, I think he might have had Leslie Tompkins, and I'd just love to see her in the Batman Part 2 or the Batman Part 3. I think that could be excellent for Bruce as a character, but just also sort of get more of those Gotham characters that we haven't really explored in live action. But what I'm trying to drive at here is having a relationship between Harvey and Bruce as friends, I think could be good for Bruce's development from the sort of reclusive, immature, kind of neglectful person that he is in his current state to the more involved philanthropist, CEO, businessman type that's giving back to Gotham, that's more involved with the politics and the day-to-day kind of things. And Harvey could be the key to opening Bruce. I know Bella Real spoke about bringing him into the fold, but I think Harvey could truly be the pioneer between Bruce now versus how he is most undoubtedly going to evolve into the more philanthropist type that Matt Reeves has been teasing, that he doesn't even know how valuable Bruce Wayne is going to be. So speaking of Harvey and all that, I think he's a sure bet for the Batman Part 2, and I think Leslie Tompkins might also be potentially in the mix, which I would really love. Of course, also just Gotham in the snow. I don't know the timeline on the next movie. See, there was an article, I don't know if it was by EW, but there was a report that said Matt Reeves said the Batman Part 2 was set like a week or two after the finale of the Penguin, but that was a misinterpretation, because he said more recently that there's a specific point in time that we jump to after the finale of the Penguin, And I would love to believe that it stays in winter because we are getting close to Christmas, because I would love if it was like I don't know what day the 25th falls on, but if he's like a Wednesday, December 25th, like, and he says it in his Batman voice, I'll be like, oh my God. And see, hopefully Greg Fraser returns. Greg Fraser shot Gotham in the fucking snow during my favorite season, my favorite time of year. That's magic and something I want to see. But I could also see, and I kind of hope that they do a slight time jump, maybe a year, but we bring it back to Christmas time, because I think there needs to be some off-screen development. I know a lot of people love to see development, and I agree, but I think in a year you can still accomplish a bit where it's not too much development, but we also get to see more of it specifically as the audience. I think that could be something. And I've spoken about this for a month. If you don't follow me on Twitter, which you guys should, you don't have to, but on Twitter, I've said for so long about Wintertime, Harvey Dent, and the other thing is, which we all kind of agree on, see, within the community, we've all sort of accepted the fact that Hush is going to be the main villain, which I also am pretty set in stone. Like, if I had to place a bet, I would say Hush. They've just alluded to the character so much in the Batman, and also they have in the Penguin, believe it or not. Because he doesn't have to be a one-to-one scale to his comic book counterpart in the sake of story, because obviously the Riddler wasn't, Edward Nashton wasn't. He was a Zodiac-inspired serial killer digging at the corruption in Gotham, and he was orphaned in the ex-Wayne Manor that, according to, what was it called? What the hell was that book called? I have it somewhere in my room, and I don't know where it is. They did a Batman prequel novel. I don't know if it's canon or not, but that was one of the things they mentioned, is that Riddler returned to burn down the orphanage, but I don't know if that's true. But anyway, what I was saying, he's not the most accurate when you think about comic Riddler and the way he is, and he doesn't have to be. It's its own version of Gotham. It's its own take, but it still, hits the mark with the character. Green riddles, obsession with Batman. So I am 100% cool with that, and I could see the same thing for Hush. If we do Thomas Elliot, it could be the thing where it's like Bruce Wayne or the Waynes were responsible for the death of my father, who was the reporter, Edward Elliot, under Maroni's payroll. And now that truth is unveiled and he's aware of that, he's naturally going to get back at Bruce Wayne himself. I don't know if he's going to impersonate him. We're going to do sort of I don't know if we're going to do like the identity thief kind of thing, or how's that going to work? Because it could be like an amalgamation of him and Golden Age Clayface to the point where he's actually impersonating people, killing people, taking their skin, making skin masks. I have no idea, but I think it's going to be something like that, because in the Batman Part 2, if you look at this if you take a step back and you look at these and really analyze what the story is trying to tell, for the Batman, it was, yes, we have a year 2 established Batman, but it was almost like the becoming of Batman. It was an origin tale. Not an origin tale in the sense that we witnessed the parents of his death and his training, and he returns to Gotham, and then he creates his Batsuit. But it was him defining, what is Batman? What do I want it to be? He was always searching for the effect that he's going to have, the purpose that he has. And then he realizes by the end of the movie, he has had an effect, but vengeance, it can't persist. He has to become more. So it was really him figuring out what he wants to accomplish in Gotham. Now that he's on a set path for what he wants Batman to be, as this more inspirational figure in Gotham for the people of Gotham, but also strike at the heart of criminality and make them afraid, and really defining what the character is. And it's really falling in line with sort of all the best aspects of the comic book his comic book counterpart. But now that we move on, we say, okay, what's next in line? Bruce Wayne needs some development. So I can see if the Batman Part 2 focuses a little bit more on the development of Bruce Wayne, which I said from the philanthropy side, Harvey Dent could be a great way to achieve that. But then also we might need an antagonist, very much like how the Riddler was challenging Batman's views on being a vigilante, on being someone who is inspiring death and destruction, and then he has to completely do a course correct. So the Batman Part 2 villain could mirror that to where they're directly opposing Bruce Wayne, and Hush has the most personal connection to Bruce. I don't know if they're going to do the childhood friend route, or if he's just going to be somebody who's going to strike back personally at Bruce Wayne because of the death of his father, maybe something like that. But I think it is someone that has to oppose Bruce Wayne, kind of quite literally, even more so than the Riddler, because he was just another name on the list of Gotham's elite that he was trying to destroy, kill. But this one will be different, because Bruce Wayne will be like the sole person that he's just trying to extinguish. And it was at some point last year that they said Clayface was in the script for... Deadline said this, that they heard that Clayface was in Matt Reeves' script for the Batman Part 2. So I said, again, it could be like an amalgamation of the characters. They could take liberties with it, but I don't know if it is just going to be Clayface, because it would have to be Golden Age or more so akin to how Capes Crusader recently portrayed him. But that would be, you can always do your own twist on it, because a lot of people are thinking that Eve Carlo would be like the wife or the sister of Basil Carlo, and we're setting up Clayface and the Penguin. But they could also just do Matt Hagen and just make him Golden Age Clayface, but his name is just Matt Hagen instead. I have no idea. I know they said that Mike Flanagan wanted to do a Clayface horror story, and we know Clayface is in Creature Commandos and is going to be a DCU Batman villain in some essence, so... maybe his film or show or whatever, it could be set there, but it would be cool if Mike Flanagan did do a project with Clayface set in the Batman universe, the Clayface, just like we got the Penguin, the Batman, and whoever the hell is next, the Two-Face, the Scarecrow, I don't know. That would be great to see. But again, I just kind of want to wrap up here, because I have been talking not only for a long time, but editing all day, and I just want to get this out there because I don't want it to get to the point where it's so late that I have to release this tomorrow, and now I have to edit this segment. So if you guys have watched up to this point, or however long, even if you don't hear this message, I appreciate you guys sticking with me throughout these 8 weeks. It's been a fun journey. I've loved this show. I love this universe, and I can't wait to see it continue, because I will be doing more reactions, not only on my channel for other shows, but whatever the future of this series is, the Batman movies, I am going to see in theaters. I am not waiting for those to come on DVD or streaming. I can't. I'll die if I get spoiled. I'm seeing those day one, first showing premiere at midnight, 1 a.m., 3 a.m. I don't care. I will be there. But the shows that we do, I don't know if we're going to do HBO movies, like small budget movies of these characters. I don't know how that's going to shape out, or if that's even a possibility. But whatever it is, I will be there, and I hope you guys will be there with me too. So just wrapping up here, next Monday in the place of the Penguin, well, before that, I should say, is there's going to be a few edits dropping throughout the week. I know I've just kind of been slow with those, and I apologize, but those are going to be coming out because I have been working on a few. But on the reaction side of things, next week, next Monday, I'm going to start reacting to Peacemaker, which I've never seen. The first season, I know the second season is currently filming, or just finished filming, or it's close to, but I think that's coming out next summer. But Monday, I'm going to start reacting to Peacemaker, and on Wednesday, I am returning to reacting to Daredevil. If you don't know, I watched all the way up to season 2, episode 4, and then I stopped. But I'm going to return to Daredevil next week, and then once that ends, I'll talk with you guys, because I know that there's sort of an order that you have to do with like the Defenders and Punisher, and I'm not really aware. So we'll talk about that, and I'll get your take on like how that is supposed to go. So again, Peacemaker on Monday, Daredevil on Wednesday, and then on Friday, finally, I'm doing my movie reactions, not this week, but next Friday, because I'm going all out next week. Next Friday, I would kindly ask you to join me for my first movie reaction in over 2 years. And that is going to be a movie called Blade Runner 2049. Speaking of cyberpunk, it's something I've never seen and I've always wanted to see. Kinda. I guess I think in more recent years I wanted to see, but I knew I was going to do my reactions again, so I just kind of put that on hold. And I'm like, I'll wait. And do a reaction to that. So yeah, next Friday, Blade Runner 2049. Again, I think that's the title. So hope you guys are excited for that. I'm excited. And just, I think I'm going to do more shorts where I talk about this universe specifically. If you want to see that, let me know, because that is something that I just love this universe so much that I could talk about it all day. So I might as well translate that a bit into news updates and thoughts on this universe, because it is it's going to become lengthy. We're going to get more installments, which I appreciate, because HBO is seeing the success, and obviously Matt Reeves wants to enrich this world even more. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys are too. Again, thank you so much for joining me on this series, on this journey. And again, we have a bunch of reactions coming out next week. So until then, have a great rest of your day. Rest well, and until the next.